you joining this talk. Thank you very much for that. Charlotte, very warm welcome to you. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. It's great that you've given up your time to talk to our students. So you left in 2019, is that right?
Yeah.
I've got that right? Yeah, to study veterinary medicine. So and at Pate you did biology, chemistry and maths at A level, didn't you? So you are going to be talking to us this afternoon about the application process and just some of your experiences that you've had studying. So obviously it's Nottingham University that you have been doing your studies for. And okay, so I'm going to, hopefully you can all see the screen, and perhaps if you have any questions, could you just put them in the chat box, and then at the end, if Charlotte's happy to answer those, I can just read them out. Is that okay?
Time at the end for questions.
Yes, perfect, good. All right, so everyone can hear. Okay. Right, over to Charlotte. I'm going to turn off my camera so that I don't distract. Right, let's go. Okay, over to you, Charlotte.
So I left, as Ms. Clear said, I've left Pate 2019, and then I did a gap year. So I'm just started September just gone at Nottingham doing veterinary medicine. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about my experiences of applying and what it's like living in Nottingham, and just give you guys a bit of an insight into what life is like at Nottingham. So just a little bit about the application process. So obviously you can see on the screen that's kind of the way it goes. With veterinary medicine, there's the extra step of an interview. So this year, obviously, when I came to Nottingham for a day to have an interview, but this year they're doing 30-minute online interviews, and this is just to kind of assess your motivation and your insight into the course and kind of why you want to do it. I would say it's not anything to be scared of. It's just they basically just want to make sure that you've got the right motivations, and that you'll suit the course well, because it is a very intense course, and you have to make sure you definitely what you want to do. Also, work experience in normal times, you'd have to do 4 weeks of work experience, but now the university have said that it won't negatively impact your application if you haven't done work experience, because obviously it's very difficult at the moment. There is an online course which I will post the link to in the chat at the end, and that's just to go through, give you a bit of an insight into the profession. So I think that's everything with that one. So that's just a picture of me in the radiography lab. So a bit more about the course at Nottingham. It's a 5-year course, and there's 3 years preclinical, which is more your theory based. So just learning your anatomy and just getting all the theory down, and then 2 years of clinical. The final year is completely lecture free, so you spend the whole year doing different placements. It's quite good with Nottingham. They have, rather than having an on-site animal hospital or referral centre, they have lots of different partner practices. So the university puts one of their staff in the practice and invests in the practice to make sure they've got the best facilities. And one of the really good things about this is that you'd see your day-to-day kind of and what a normal practice is like, with really good facilities, obviously. But I think sometimes if you're learning in a very advanced referral hospital, when you get to kind of your day-to-day practice, it would be a bit of might not have the basics. So that's really good. At Nottingham, you live in a campus called Sutton Bonington. So this is about 20 minutes away from the main campus, and there's a hopper bus which runs really regularly. It's about every 15 minutes. So it's really easy to get in and out of Nottingham. What else about that? I think that's Yeah, so on campus, it's really nice because everything's all in one place. So they've got really good purpose-built facilities, dissection lab, clinical skills lab, things like that. And then also there's an on-site small holding where they've got cows, sheep and chickens. And then they've got stables as well. So I don't know if anyone has their own horses, but quite a lot of people bring their horses here. And then you get the kind of, it's lots of benefits because you can have your horse, keep your horse here, so it's easy to look after, and also gets used in practicals. And yes, that's really good. And then another thing which is really good, which we do, is you get rotation. So you go around you get allocated a week as part of a group, and then for that week you'll be in charge of looking after either the large animals in the small holding or the small animals. They've got rabbits and guinea pigs, rodents and exotics as well. Just a little bit about the first week. So it's really exciting, obviously arriving at university, but it also can be very scary. For me, I felt at home quite quickly. As soon as you arrive, I was shown to my flat and I got to know my flatmates. Obviously, it's a bit weird this year because it's hard to mix. It's hard to mix households. But yeah, on the second night when I arrived, there was a pizza night. So the student union gave us all free pizza and we all sat outside, which was really nice. In terms of the course, in the first week, you have a lot of introductory lectures, and you get, especially with everything being online, it's just getting to grips with all the different things that the different platforms that you use. Yeah. Then also for me in the first week, I used the hopper buses and went in and had a walk around main campus, which is really nice. It's big green campus, which is really nice. Just a little bit more about the welcome week. Yeah, and there's a fairs on at the main campus as well, so you can go and find out about all the different things which are going on. And there's a picture of me with one of my friend's horses. So in my average week, I would do two or three practicals really. So these might, the other work would be lectures, self-directed or group sessions. So roughly I'm working from 9 to 5 each day with Wednesday afternoons off. But I find there's gaps, so you can go over and if you've got a lecture, there'll be maybe a bit of time afterwards. You can go back, review things like that. So Sutton Bonington's really nice because it's quite rural, so there's loads of nice walks, which has especially been nice in lockdown, so we can always get out. I try to do one big walk on the weekends. And yeah, it's being locked down is obviously difficult because the normal life is altered, but I've still found lots of ways to make it fun. So in my flat, we've done a come down with me, for example, so that was really nice. We could all get dressed up and things like that. The student union also put on lots of things. So on Chinese New Year, we got free dim sum and chow mein, and today, because it's National Chip Week, we're having free fish and chips. So they do put on different things which get you out of your flat, and you can go and go and see what's going on, which is really nice. Yeah, so university teaching is quite different from school. There's lots of different methods. So you've got lectures, which is seminars, workshops and tutorials, and more small group sessions, which is really nice because it's more consolidating what you've learned in lectures and applying it to different things. Lab works and placements, field trips and personal study as well. So for in terms of the vet course, the practicals look like we've got dissections, animal handling as well, and palpation sessions, which is really nice because you get hands-on with the app. So we'll learn about, so for example, this week we've been learning about the heart. So we've been learning all the theory about the cardiovascular system. And then this morning, I had 3 practicals, one with the dogs, one with the sheep and the cows, and one with the horses. So we'd actually go and see where you'd go to listen to the heart and the lungs, what different veins you can feel for the pulse, things like that. Yeah, I think, and that's just a bit about the academic support. So it's really nice at Nottingham we have, everyone has a personal tutor. So I think there's 4 or 5 in a tutor group. My tutor is really nice, messaged me, she will email me every week and check in. Especially in lockdown, that's really nice to have someone that, you know, if there's anything goes wrong, there's always going to be someone there. And like peer support here is really nice because it is, I would say, 70% of vet students that live on this campus. So it's really nice because if anything in the academic side is finding it difficult, you can go and talk to my flatmates, or if we need to do work together, which is really nice as well. And the libraries and online resources, I really like personally using the online books because they've got a really nice platform, and you kind of get your book up if you search in what you're looking for and it comes up straight away, which I really like. Really convenient. Bit about the social life. So through university, there's lots of clubs and societies you can do. There's over 200 societies in Nottingham. On the vet side of things, you've got VetSoc, which is a massive society, and they do run lots of social events. For example, they do a vet ball and a vet ball and a boat party, and they also put on lots of talks. So they have different branches. They have like a farm animal branch, an equine branch, exotics branch, small animal branch. So if you're more interested, you can join the different section of them. There's also, Nottingham has its own radio station, newspaper, theatre, which is all run by students, which is really nice and something to get involved with. So there's, in the main campus, there's a student union bar or cafe type of thing, which is really nice. And on Sutton Bonington, we have what we call the barn. So it's a big, just like a big hall, but it's got downstairs, it's got kind of social spaces, and then upstairs is a big hall where normally you'd have your dinner, and they have barn parties, which I've never been able to experience, but they big social events in there, which is really nice. So this is a bit of a quiz. So these are all different societies. So if you think it's true, you put your hands up, and if you don't, then, as in if you think it exists, then put your hand up. If you don't, then keep it down. So Kettle Society, I don't think that exists. No, so that one does exist. And they have meetings where they enjoy hot drinks and chat. So that one's true. The Hummer Society. That one doesn't exist at Nottingham, but it does exist in Durham, I've heard. A Lego Society. So that one does exist. They meet up for weekly building contests and work on different projects together. Skydiving Society. That one does exist. I'll say just skydive. Nerve Society. That one's true. They have weekly games such as Capture the Flag or Team Deathmatch, and head off to the pub to trade stories of heroism or epic failures. And then the last one, oh no, that's the last one, Zombie Apocalypse Society. One's false, but does exist in Manchester. And then the last one is the Quidditch Society. That one does exist. Cool. So moving on, the sports at Nottingham is really good. They've got on the main campus the David Ross Sports Village, which was opened in 2016. It's got an 8-lane swimming pool, 12-metre climbing wall, 3G pitches, 200 fitness stations in the gym, an outdoor running track, and a massive indoor sports hall. There's loads of sports teams which compete against other universities, but also lots of intramural, that's the right word, yeah, intramural teams, so different sections of the university play against each other, which is really fun. I've joined the netball team. Obviously it didn't last very long with the lockdowns, but I got a few matches in, which was really fun. So you play against different departments, things like that. A little bit about this city. So Nottingham's a really good city for students because there's not only the University of Nottingham but also Nottingham Trent. So there's loads of students here. It's about a 10-minute bus journey from the main campus, and from Sutton Bonington I normally get the bus half the way and then a tram, and the trams are really good. So the student ticket's only £3.20 for a day. Excellent shopping facilities and a very creative city. So there's lots going on. It's a really nice city. A little bit about in terms of accommodation, there's catered accommodation, which is mainly on University Park. So then you'd have all your meals included. It's really sociable, and there's different, you can choose your room, so whether you want ensuite, single bed, double bed, things like that. And those are all really central to campus. And then the self-catered, so that's what I'm living in Sutton Bonington. Normally they have their park catered, so you get 5 dinners a week, which would be really nice and sociable. It's not able to happen with the pandemic, but yeah, that's really nice. And it's really nice because we have kitchens, so we have big social spaces, whereas I think sometimes in the catered they're slightly more, you have a smaller kitchen, but there's definitely pros and cons to both. A bit about money. So it's quite a different thing when you're at university because you get all your finances, you're in charge of everything. So budgeting is really important. I find it really useful if I plan out my meals, because then when I go to the shops, I can pick exactly what I want, and it saves wasting things, which is good. And then student discounts are really good. I don't know if people have got uni days, but that's really useful. And then part-time work, so there's lots of work you can do through the university. It's a website called Uni Temps, which has got lots of kind of jobs you can do, which don't necessarily need full commitment if you're busy. And then there's just a few tips there about when you come to university. Basically, it's really exciting, can be quite scary at the start. And one of the big things I would say, especially on the academic side, is it's quite different from school in the way that you don't have anyone to check up on you. So if you're behind, then no one's going to really be there telling you to do it. And it's kind of, you have to be in charge of that on your own. And yeah, make sure you're staying on track and asking for help when you need it, because people won't necessarily automatically know if you're behind. But yeah, has anyone got any questions? I don't know what the best way to do questions is, if you want to put them in the chat or put your microphones on, I'm not sure.
Thanks very much, Charlotte. So that was very, very helpful to go through all of those different aspects of the course, and some really useful hints and tips there. Thank you. That's fantastic. Great. Any questions? Yeah, perhaps if you could put them in the chat, then I can read them out.
Yeah.
Must have some questions.
Anything like general university related or related to the course? Anything I can help with?
Okay, there's a question here from Sophie. What attracted you to Nottingham over anywhere else? Okay,
so one of the really good things about Nottingham, which especially since coming here, I've noticed, is that everything's really, there's a big emphasis on clinical relevance. So even though I'm in preclinical years, so you're not learning how to do surgery, but everything. So like, as I said this week doing the heart, that we then go out and see the animals, and we had a heart dissection earlier in the week. So it's really nice. Everything is, a lot of clinical relevance. And at the end of the majority of lectures, when they talk about something which they straight away will say, this in practice, you might see this and this and this, which would affect that thing which they've just been talking about, which is really nice, because even though you're not going into kind of loads of detail on the clinical side, it plants the seeds in your head. So when you come back round to it, you'll say, oh yeah, I remember that disease was linked to that and things like that. Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you. There's one here. What was the step up like from A level to degree?
It's different, I would say. Yeah, it's there's some things I was almost surprised the amount of things which come up which have done before A level. I think it's different in the way you have to be much more motivated by on your own, and I think the work level, it's hard because it's kind of a natural progression up. It's not there's much I think there's much more detail at times, but yeah, I don't think it's anything to worry about because everyone's in the same boat, and if you're finding something tricky, you know everyone else will. But yeah.
Okay, any more questions? If you could just put them in the chat box, that's fantastic. I think you've covered an awful lot actually, Charlotte, with your presentation. Lots and lots of different aspects of the course. That's really, really helpful. Okay. All right. It doesn't look like we've got anything else from the students to ask, but this is obviously being recorded. Oh, we've got one more. If someone is thinking about becoming a vet, what could they do to find out more? What advice would you give?
So I would say it's really good to get as much insight. Obviously, it's hard because work experience will be difficult at the moment, but it's good to get as much insight into the profession, because unlike a lot of degrees, you're doing it, and there's a big element of professionalism, and you have to know that that's kind of there's a lot. You don't have to do a vet degree and then become a practicing vet, but you're becoming part of a profession. And yeah, it can be very intense, and the best thing to do is so I'll put the link in. As I said, there's this online work experience thing you can do, which I think is about 6 hours worth of things to go through. You do it over a few weeks, and yeah, I don't know, just talking to any vets that you know, just make sure that you can get as much insight, I would say, just to make sure it's what you want to do. Yeah, and just like research around different topics which are popular, and just check that that's actually you're really interested by it, because you have to have a lot of motivation. You have to know that is what you want to do to be successful, I think.
Okay, that's brilliant. Yeah, I mean it's showing that motivation, isn't it?
And I think I would say it's definitely worth it if it's what you want to do. Like, I love the course, and I go into uni, like just going into uni this morning and going and seeing the cows when a lot of my friends have not been into uni since September. It's really nice. Definitely worth it if it is what you want to do.
Okay, fantastic, brilliant. Thank you so much, Charlotte. That's really, really helpful for us, and I'm sure really inspiring actually for those students that are thinking of going into it. It's great to get that insight into exactly what the course entails. Okay, well, if we haven't got any more questions from everyone, thank you for coming, and I hope that the rest of the week goes well for you all. And yes, so we will put this recording, obviously this recording will be made available if there's anything that you want to go back and have a look at. But thank you again, Charlotte, for your time, for taking it out of your studies. You're obviously very busy doing your practicals and getting underway with your course. So we wish you all the best of luck with the rest of it.
Thank you very much.
Okay, take care.